Hello to everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video we're just gonna see how easily we could install Visual Studio Code on our system and install Python and other extensions to use it as an IDE or a programming environment. Without further, let's do this. First of all, I'm just gonna open a browser and search Visual Studio Code. So this is the officially Visual Studio Code website. I'm just gonna go and click through the download part. And here I can see the Windows version, the Linux version, and the Mac version. And based on the architecture of your system, you're just gonna download the version that it is required for your system. So as I'm a Windows user, I'm just gonna click on x64 or the version of 64-bit. And I'm just gonna wait till it is downloaded. So the Visual Studio Code has been successfully downloaded on my system. I'm just gonna click on it, and this is the installation guide of Visual Studio Code. I'm just gonna accept the agreement. I'm just gonna next, and here you can just select and choose the location that you want the Visual Studio Code to be installed on your system. I'm just gonna let it to be default, and here it asks you to select the start menu folder, and I'm just gonna go for the next because I want it. And here you can just select additional tasks. For example, I want to create a desktop icon, and I suggest you to select all of them, and you can just read the additional tasks that it could be done during the installation. I'm just gonna go for the next. It is ready to install, and finally click on the install button. We're just gonna wait till Visual Studio Code is successfully downloaded on our system. So the Visual Studio Code installation is now complete, and I'm just gonna click on finish, and Visual Studio Code is just gonna be launched through my system. So this is the space that you're just gonna face, and how you see Visual Studio Code as the first view. Here we have some buttons and stuff that I'm just gonna seek and get more into it. As the first view of the Visual Studio Code, on the left and the bottom of the page, here we can access your settings. For example, here we can just change the themes that you just want to do. For example, this is red, but I'm used to the dark modern color. Here we can just access to the tasks. For example, here we can just access to the .NET Core, Maven, and another builds. Here we can just access to the snippets, for example, C++, C#, Dart, and a lot other snippets. And here we have keyboard shortcuts, as you guys can see, and this is all of the available keyboard shortcuts during the coding sessions. And by clicking on the close or clicking Ctrl plus F4, you can just close the files that are just going to be open for you guys. And here we have extensions, and you can just access them directly by clicking on extensions. We're just going to go through it. Here it is all of the available settings of the Visual Studio Code. There are a whole bunch of settings, and you can just access and change the stuff based on the thing that you want. As the most important thing, I'm just going to tell you guys, and here we have autosave. You can just set what type of autosaving that you just want to have, or it's just going to be off. And I suggest you to put it on focus change, or maybe on Windows change for your files that are not going to be lost. And here we can access font size and a lot other stuff. And in the continue of settings in the Visual Studio Code, we have different profiles. You can just access different profiles. And here we have common palette, and you can just seek to see what are all of the stuff available in the setting and managing your Visual Studio Code. Here we can just access different accounts through the cloud changes and remote tunnel access. Here we have the extension parts. I'm just gonna close this. And you can just install any extension that you want. I've downloaded Python before. I'm just gonna uninstall it, and I'm just gonna reinstall it for you guys to see what is going on here. And here we can just uninstall everything that you just have and install them just right now. For example, I'm just gonna install Jupyter key map, and Python extension pack. These are just for the fun. For example, I'm just gonna install Django, Jupyter cell tags, Jupyter power tools, because I'm just gonna use them later. And this is all of the packages that it's just gonna be useful for you guys as you are a Python programmer. I suggest you to install them right now. Here we have run and debug. Here you're just gonna drag and drop a file, and you're just gonna run and debug it. Here we have source control. First of all, you have to trust the workplace. For example, I'm just gonna trust this workplace, and I'm just gonna add the folders. For example, I'm just gonna add my whole PC, which it cannot be done because you have to choose a folder and you have to set the path that this file and folder is trusted and run its codes. You can just have your searches here, and here we can just open your files. For example, here I'm just gonna open my files. Here I can just access my documents, pictures, videos, anything that I want. So this was about the buttons, and here on the top side of the page we have access into the files. For example, you can just create a new text file, or maybe create a new file and select the type of file that you want. For example, I'm just gonna create a Python file, and for doing this, the Python, it must be installed on my system, or maybe creating a Jupyter notebook file, which you can see the format of them, it is different, and I can just close them by doing this. And as I'm just gonna close it, it asks me, do I want to save the file? And as I'm just gonna click on save, it asks me the address. I'm just gonna save it on desktop, and here you can set the format and the name of the file, and I'm just gonna give it the test name, and the format is just gonna be JSON, but as it is in the correct format, it's just gonna be in the IPy notebook format. I'm just gonna save it, and I can just open it by double clicking on it, and the test.ipy notebook or IPython notebook is just gonna be open for me. Here you have access to the folders, to files, to everything that it is needed. You can save your files, or you can just press Ctrl+S to save your files, and you can share your files. You can set the auto set, and maybe you can just exit the Visual Studio Code, but I'm just gonna enter it. You can edit the stuff that you want. For example, I'm just gonna do this, and I'm just gonna select them, and I'm just gonna undo them, and this task or this action is just gonna be undone. You can just redo it, you can just cut it, and you can just replace them with anything that you can just search in here. You can do a lot of things here. Here we have the selection part. There is not gonna be a lot useful here because they have handles, and the cells have handles, or maybe in the Python notebook this part is just gonna be useful and essential by selecting expand selection, or selecting all of the stuff and codes. Here we have view, that here you can just access your appearance, you can explore, you can debug console, you can open a terminal to see what is going on here. Here we have the go part, which I think this is not gonna be super essential and useful for you guys, but as you're just gonna walk through it, you're absolutely gonna need this and get known more with this, because you just have to play with them to see what is going on in them. And finally, we have the run, which you can just start debugging or run without debugging, and you can just create new breakpoints, for example, for the edit breakpoint and conditional breakpoint and all of this stuff, or install additional debuggers. And another important thing for telling you guys, you can just select your kernel here. For example, I'm just gonna have my my Jupyter notebook, and you can just escape it by clicking on ESC button, and you can just create a new terminal by clicking on this in this part, or you can just split your terminal to 2 terminals and just run your tasks for different stuff. For example, you can just access your run active file or build file, and you can access help here to getting and seeking your helps. And this was everything that you needed to know for getting all the way through the Visual Studio Code and have a deep insight about Visual Studio Code. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe to my channel, leave me a comment, and absolutely check out my other videos. Stay tuned.